In this brief clip, Michael Saylor's telling us how we could fix all those scammers in the comments below with Bitcoin. Check it out.
Could spin up 100 million Twitter accounts that would actually be more articulate than 100 million real people on Twitter. That's a disturbing thing, right? We can no longer rely upon information freely flowing unverified. We need to see a world, for example, where there's an orange check. If I can prove that I'm me by doing a transaction on the Bitcoin base layer, and then I have the private key, and then I digitally sign that transaction, and then I digitally sign my account on Twitter, and I digitally sign my account on WhatsApp and Telegram and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and Office 365, and then I digitally sign the documents I write, the messages I deliver, the transactions I agree to. In that world, I could at least stop 100 million fake Michael Saylors.
Sean's coming back at you, another cryptocurrency video. We have a jam-packed video today, and we got some major crypto news and some suggestions on things you can look into for your own security and own peace of mind. So definitely watch this one to the end. Before we get started, if you want any one-on-one takes from the Bitcoin Bros or any of our exclusive content, go ahead and check us out at patreon.com/Bitcoin Bros. Getting straight into it, taking a look at an update from TA Trader Allen. Bitcoin is at the final accumulation phase now. So right now, this is the time that you want to be patient. And as you see, we have this rounding bottom where Bitcoin just sort of just cools off a little bit before it takes off to the races. And right now, this rounding bottom, this happened back in 2020. Right after the 2020 halving, this is the formation we seen, and then we ran up to the upside. So could we see a $100,000 Bitcoin before the year is out if this pattern just is copy and pasted over here and history repeats and rhymes almost exactly? 100K before the end of 2024? That would mean Bitcoin would be doing something that it's never done before, which is making a new high before the next halving cycle. Now, could this be in the cards? Potentially. We're not going to say that it's 100% guaranteed that Bitcoin is not going to make a high, but based off history, it's not probable. We might get some sideways chop. We might get this move, but we might not go up past that $69,000 threshold. So this might be scrunched down. Maybe the $40,000, $50,000 range is maybe in the cards, but just food for thought. Another update from TA Trader Allen. This chart indicates the long-term interaction between Bitcoin and the modified Bollinger Bands. The mid band is a 20 SMA and the upper band is the 5 standard deviation. Bitcoin twines around the mid band, breakdown, resume, and retest on each cycle. Bitcoin touches the upper band as a target. 200K is inevitable. So let's take a look and see what he's looking at here with this chart. So you see Bitcoin has this twist around every cycle, and it comes back and bounces off this 20 SMA before reaching that target and hitting that 20 SMA plus the 5 standard deviation band. And then we do another twine around and then rinse repeat and then come up and kiss that band again, whine around, rinse repeat, come up and kiss that band again, whine around. And right now that's what we're in the midst of. We haven't completed this whine around yet. We could see this run up. You see that this is the run up that he mentioned in the previous post. It's not really going up to 100K this year. This could have the cool off going to the 2024 halving, but then ultimately running up to that upside and seeing that $200,000 threshold hit. Will 200K be on the way? You be the judge. In latest news, Ledger is something that the Bitcoin Bros have used, and there's been a lot of questions, there's been a lot of emails, there's been a lot of comments. You've seen this, you heard it. If you're paying attention, unless you're living under a rock, there's a lot of scrutiny in the markets. People are wary of Ledger. Some brief news, Grid Plus to open source wallet firmware in Q3 amid the Ledger debacle. As accusations are hurled at Ledger over the controversial update, one hardware wallet has decided to open source its firmware. Others have turned it into a marketing opportunity. This is one thing that you got to be mindful of with this Ledger debacle, because they're saying that this is something you have to opt into as far as this service goes and actually pay for, but their firmware is encrypted and you don't know what that firmware is pushing. If you don't use your ledger for a few months, they push updates periodically just to keep the hardware working and the software updated. With that, you don't know what's in that firmware. So what some of their competitors have done is they've actually took one step farther and made it open source. You can actually see the updates, you can actually see the code that's being pushed, and this is definitely the way it should be. Most people can't read the code anyway, but it's just good to be transparent. For transparency's sake, versus having the code locked down and not open source, this might be the route Ledger wants to take to give their customers peace of mind. So once again, we use Ledger, and what we're going to do, we'll answer that before the video. Are we going to just ditch our ledgers and never use them anymore? That will be discussed, so make sure you watch this to the end. We have a quick update from the CTO. We'll give them a chance to speak and explain themselves. You don't just want to jump off the rails, although we are on the side of the sentiment of the crypto community. Let's just make that clear. We don't believe that seed phrases, you should be able to opt into a service where firmware is pushed and your seed phrase gets extracted and split up to multiple third parties. That defeats the whole purpose of being a cold storage wallet. That makes it sort of a semi-hot wallet, if not a hot wallet. So that's our take on it, but let's hear from Charles Gulmit. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, so my apologies, but let's hear what he has to say.
Charles, I have to ask, having your seed leave your device unless you opt into Ledger Recover, it feels like even though it's broken into 3 parts and then encrypted and then sent off, how is that not effectively the same as the seed leaving your hardware wallet? Is that not a compromise of security in some way?
No, it's not. And again, we are giving the option to our users. If you are not comfortable with using third party, if you want to be fully in control, if you want to be completely self-sovereign, you simply can not use this service. And if you like the idea of ease of use and having a separate backup just in case, you can use this service. And using this service is quite easy. And as I mentioned, the seed is split in 3 shards. Having one of the shards doesn't give any information about your seed, so this is something important to say. And they are encrypted, so the encryption prevents any attacker to do anything.
So this is opt-in software. Can you guarantee that you guys will continue to have it be opt-in software, or will it someday not become opt-in software? Because I think that is a critique and or a worry for some of your customers.
Yeah, totally. We had plenty of questions and people were wondering this kind of question. And yes, we can guarantee that the guarantee that we give to our user is as soon as the operating system of our devices touch a cryptographic material, like a key, it will ask you for consent. It's the case when you sign a Bitcoin transaction. The operating system will ask you for consent. It's the case when you do smart contract interaction. It's the case when you do staking on Cosmos. It's the same when you do firmware upgrade.
Okay, so we had to cut that short a little bit. We heard enough, and our thoughts are, this is just words. He's saying that they guarantee, Alice Mashinsky made certain guarantees. Sam Bankman-Fried made certain guarantees. So these are just words. Now, whether this is something they're going to stand by or not, time will definitely tell. But, Ledger has definitely lost a lot of trust across the crypto community. Whether this just turns out to be a nothing burger, as Mr. Wonderful would say, then it's just water under the bridge and, you can just go about living your life. But you want to be 100% safe. The Bitcoin bros are, just going to suggest a few other alternatives out there that have been tested, tried, and accredited as far as Bitcoin storage goes. That first one being Foundation. You can find out more from them at Foundation DVCS. They've had a huge order book, seeing that this Ledger debacle has been going on. A lot of people have been looking to maybe still use Ledger and just sort of, spread their assets across different wallets. So, if something does happen, 100% of your assets, if you're using just solely Ledger, aren't lost. So this is a viable option. They came out and they actually are getting blown away because they've sold out of all their stock. There's a huge demand, and their next shipment's not coming in until mid-June, so there's back orders now because of this debacle. Another alternative is Blockstream. You can check them out. This is a Bitcoin wallet, definitely a legitimate company. Do your own research. Don't take it from us. Bitcoin Bros have looked into this for you, but also take it a step farther and self-educate. Teach yourself. Make sure you feel comfortable. Don't just take my word for it because I'm not a financial advisor. Another alternative, Cold Card. This costs a little more than Blockstream and the Foundation wallet, but from the reviews and from the company and everything else, everything's on the up and up. They have verifiable source code, and you can actually use this wallet and not even be on Bluetooth or have it ever connected to a computer at all. That is the true definition of cold storage. So if this is something you're interested in, these are your potential options. Once again, do your own research. We're not financial advisors, but with this debacle, there's a lot of fears, a lot of questions being asked. You heard from the Ledger CTO. Some people are saying, it's an opt-in service and they'll take their word for it. So if you want to believe it's an opt-in service, one day it might not be, then your seed phrase is elsewhere. Take that for what it's worth. And once again, that's speculation until proven indifferent. But right now, that's what it is. You just have the company of Ledger's word that they guarantee that will never happen. The Bitcoin Bros stand on self-sovereignty and being your own bank and not relying on any third party. Being your own bank is you being your own bank, not anybody else. So to each its own. Everybody has to make their own decisions throughout their crypto journey. But the Bitcoin Bros are here for you. We're going to continue to make this content, help educate, help guide. At the end of the day, you have to make the decision for your comfort level. And with that, I'm Sean with the Bitcoin Bros. If you guys like this content, go ahead and smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and show us some love. We appreciate the support. With that, that's all I have for you today, and I'm out.